some important things for you to understand about what it means to be an accompanist. I can't do what Larry suggests and quit 2 weeks before opening night. It's the worst thing an accompanist can do. It would render me unhireable. No one would ever hire me in this town again if they found out that I had done that. This is how I earn my living. All of it, not part of it. I haven't had to take a job outside my field since before your graduating class was born. Not once. One cannot succeed in this business if they do that. I mentioned defamation in my previous letter, as Larry listed me in the paper as the musical director of that crap. I said my livelihood depended entirely on my reputation for excellence in my work. It's not entirely true. There are two more things equally, if not more important, and Larry has severely defamed me in both of these areas. The other two, it's been over a year. Well, looks like I got this email just in time. What do I have, till July 21st to get to the bottom of this? Voluntarily leaving while he's relying on me to fulfill my contract. After moving back home in 2003, I continued to be the first-choice substitute pianist at La Mer Restaurant at the Jefferson Hotel, one of 2 5-star restaurants in Virginia, 2, and did all of their major holidays. I'm an hour away, and I'm the guy they get every single year, until they closed last year, for Christmas, Thanksgiving, Mother's Day, Easter, every major holiday. He's not going to get me to do those every year unless he knows that I am completely reliable. He's got plenty of subs right there in Richmond. People pay me $150 an hour to play at their weddings. They're not going to hire somebody they can't count on to play at their weddings. I have the distinct honor of being the only pianist ever to have the so highly coveted key to the now late George Melvin's piano, which I played on the night of December 19th of last year, the day after the first colossal snowstorm that left us all snowbound for days. This cost me $100 in cab fare. I made it clear to Larry several times that I have never failed to honor a commitment. But what about Larry? Mr. Erb, your letter makes no mention of Greece whatsoever. This fall it'll be 5 years. The statute of limitations for breach of contract is 5 years. I told you that Mr. Goldstein assigned extra work without offering additional compensation, then gave the job to someone else who offered to do it for free. Is this acceptable to you, Mr. Perkinson? Is this the way Tandem Friends School does business and teaches their students to do business and to treat other people? The extra work that I was assigned was to make a recording. When the score arrived, Mr. Goldstein brought it to me at my home and said, "The first thing I needed you to do is to make a recording of this song that's not on the CD." Then he turned and walked away before I had a chance to respond. The very first thing he did was to breach contract immediately. If the recording was the first thing he needed, why was it the last thing to mention before leaving without giving me a chance to respond? This is a pattern, gentlemen. There are reasons why professionals don't hire someone to do a job and then give the job to someone else who wants to do it for free or cheaper to save money. It's completely unprofessional. It's disrespectful of a person's right to earn a living. It's not the act of a gentleman or a man of his word. And word will spread I tried to put together a band for rent, but everyone knew that story and said no way. And of course mentioned that I was a fool to work with him again. True. I believe in second chances. Sucker. But there is another reason not to do this. One doesn't do this because one does not want that done to him. If I were to do this to Larry, breach contract so that I could make some more money, if I got a gig that paid several hundreds of dollars on the night of one of his shows, which is likely to happen, he'd have quite a problem. I, of course, would never do that. When I say likely to happen, likely that I would get offered a job, not that I would take it. Committing to the show means if I get an offer for a $600 job, oh well, can't take it. I wouldn't do that because I'm a professional and can't afford to have people say that I did this. The fascinating thing about Larry, if he didn't have the common decency to actually feel apologetic, he's an actor. He didn't have the common sense to act apologetic. When he called to tell me he was giving me the axe, and when he came by to pick up the score, he acted as though he had done nothing wrong whatsoever. I told him this was unacceptable, and he justified himself by saying, of course he's going to go with the person for free if he can. Walked off. If you're going to hire professionals, treat them like professionals. No professional is going to put up with this crap. One friend asked me if maybe I was expecting too high a level of professionalism from the students when he heard that I was going off about this rent business. I have rehearsed preschoolers. I teach beginners, 5-year-olds. I'm not expecting anything from the students other than their best effort. They were not allowed to give any effort. But as an artist and an educator, I expect professionalism from Larry Goldstein, from whoever you have hired to be the director of your musical productions. I expect professionalism from that person in your employ, and I expect to be treated like a professional. Larry Goldstein conducts himself at all times in a manner which is unprofessional at best, criminal at worst, at all times completely unacceptable and inexcusable. And he acts at all times as though he had done nothing wrong whatsoever.